It's live on Joy News Prime Time now for business. The Institute for Fiscal Studies, IFS, is questioning the decision by government to issue a 50-year century bond to fund infrastructure projects in the country, despite the creation of the Ghana Infrastructure Fund. According to the Institute, it is not appropriate for government to keep the fund whilst borrowing to finance other infrastructure projects. Director of the research at the IFS, Dr. John Kwachi, has been addressing the media in a pre-budget interaction in Accra.
The government has also proposed to issue a $50 billion century bond for financing infrastructure development. Here also, there are questions regarding the financial terms, the time frame for sourcing the funds, etc. Obviously, the bond is going to impose, and I think Dr. Saida has also referred to this, impose a huge financial burden on the country in terms of the long-term repayment costs as well as the short-term servicing cost. Also pertinent is the question of the capacity of the country to absorb such a huge amount in an efficient manner, especially if it is going to be disbursed in a very short order. The choice of projects is equally important, since they must be able to produce adequate economic returns to enable repayment of the costs of the bond. Now, IFS has expressed widespread views on the century bond in a published paper to which we'll refer the media. But at this juncture, we want to draw attention to the fact that there also exists the Ghana Infrastructure Investment Fund, which received initial seeded capital of $250 million, and we are wondering why it does appear that the fund is not playing its original role of serving as a source of funding a diversified portfolio of infrastructure projects to promote national development. Because we think that creating parallel systems, as it appears is being done, stands the risk of inefficiency and also being counterproductive.
President Akufo-Addo is making a strong case for a review of the country's tax structure. The country is still struggling to meet its revenue targets despite several revenue reforms. Latest numbers from the Finance Ministry shows that revenue is down by almost 3 billion to reach 24.7 billion by the end of July. The president has also been defending the setting up of the Special Prosecutor's Office to protect siphoning of resources. George Wiafe has more from the ongoing Africa Investment Forum, where the president has been addressing some investors.
The program has brought together heads of state, world leaders and business chiefs on how they can grow investments in the region. There have been several discussions over the previous day, and then today as well, the president of South Africa, Cyril Ramaphosa, opened the session where he encouraged businesses and leaders to work together, because that is one of the surest ways that they can grow and expand the economy. There was a second session where President Akufo-Addo was one of the panelists. He was asked about what are some of the broad policies he's putting in place to grow the economy as well as connect with other African countries. The president touted his Planting for Food program as one of those critical policies he's putting in place to help grow the economy. There was also a question about the setup of the prosecutor's office by the president and what he aims to achieve by that one. The president believes that this could help grow the economy and ensure that there's effective use of the public resources.
All of us are aware of how distorting and damaging corruption in our public sector has been, and the evident need for us to do something about it. I don't think this is a matter that requires any serious analysis or a lot of talk. It's a fact. All of us know it as a fact. And the next issue is, what are you going to be able to do about it? You have to begin by looking at the institutions to see how you can have institutions that are capable of dealing with it. And then the office is there, but there's also the attitude of those of us who are in office. I've taken the view that we have to make an example, we who are in office in Ghana, so that if allegations are made, evidence is given which suggests that, for instance, members of my administration are indulging in corrupt acts. Anytime an allegation is made, I've seen to it that it's investigated.
Well, there are several meetings going on here between business leaders, closing the deals, and we even understand that Ghana is going to close a deal with some investors with respect to the railway sector. Lots of those are being signed here, lots of business meetings, government engagement, and that is what you find at the Africa Investment Summit here in Sandton in South Africa. George Yafe from the Convention Center here in Sandton, Johannesburg, reporting for Joy Business.
Now, potential investors on Thursday swarmed into the launch of Ghana's first international licensing round, signifying high interest for the country's offshore oil blocks in the Western Basin. According to the Minister of Energy, John Peter Amewu, before the official launch of the licensing round, at least 6 oil firms, both local and international, had already shown interest in acquiring exploration rights. The minister, who addressed the launch of the international licensing round in Cape Town, South Africa, assured investors of government's readiness to do business with all companies, irrespective of location. He, however, said government would not renege on its local content policy.
We are equipping our citizenry with the competitiveness, financial and technical, to undertake activities in the oil and gas value chain under the Accelerated Oil and Gas Capacity Building Program. I am confident that the companies that will win the tenders to exploit for oil and gas in Ghana will quickly begin to align themselves with some of our strategic goals in building the capacities of our country. I also like to remind you that it is legally mandatory, and I repeat, it is legally mandatory to partner with indigenous Ghanaian companies to undertake petroleum activity in our country. It is therefore important to study our local content regulations and standards far in advance to ensure our alignment with our local requirements. Ladies and gentlemen, permit me to use this opportunity and time here today to commend all of you, our stakeholders, both Ghanaians and international entities, for emphatically endorsing our oil and gas licensing round and for showing interest in our oil and gas industry.
And that's all we have for you by way of business tonight. Many thanks for watching. You can have more business news when you log on to myjoyonline.com/business. My name is Emmanuel Abuachi. Have a good evening.